This week, we explore the vital work of St. John and the many ways they support our community every day. From essential first response training that gives ordinary people the confidence to save lives, to dedicated transport services helping those with limited mobility stay connected to healthcare and the community. This is a story of care, compassion, and support across Gibraltar.
It's a very impressive group in Gibraltar. I think the work that St John in Gibraltar is doing with ambulance work, frontline first aid work, first aid training, first aid supplies and so on is absolutely first class. People say to me when I come here, "Oh, we're just small." I said, it doesn't matter. There's an old expression, you punch above your weight, as it were. And I think that the community of Gibraltar can be very proud of what St John in Gibraltar does on the global St John scale. It's seen as strong, well-led, good volunteers, highly professional, doing good work.
I've been here for 7 years. I have a few roles, but I just like to say that I run the office and do most of the admin. There's a lot of work that goes on. Everything comes through me, whether it's course bookings, transfers. We still do local transfers. The cross-border ones, we hardly do any at the moment because of the Brexit. We're hoping when the deal is signed that those will come back. Public duties, requests come in for that. So I see to that and then pass the request on to the events team. Selling first aid kits, defibrillators. Been doing a lot of events this year. The phone rings, the email, text message. They contact me every way they can. Everything.
Dolores is like the glue that makes everything work. Without Dolores, the system won't work. We don't realize how important each and every one is. It's important to make sure the system works, and she's one of them. It's like putting some petrol into the car. Without petrol, it won't work. This is the same thing.
I'm very proud to be here, actually. It's very humbling to do what we do and to see the volunteers that they give up a lot of their time to help patients and things, and it's nice when people do it on a volunteer basis. There is a difference, a big difference. St John UK and St John International. This year we've had the people from Isle of Man come over twice. We also went over to Exeter. We now have one of our volunteers working with St John in Ghana.
All the St John organisations around the world, they actually offer different things. So for example, in some countries, St John is actually the primary ambulance provider. In other places, they run mother and baby programs. And in Malta, for example, they have sea rescue and helicopter services as well. So it's interesting to meet those people from different places in the world and sort of learn maybe different things that we might be able to offer here one day.
Talking about that massive worldwide family, we've been privileged to be involved with the TT racing over in the Isle of Man. We were invited to go over. We were at the thick of it. We were at the front, trackside, massive race, one of the most dangerous street races in the world. And to be there, part of that, not knowing what you're going to get involved in, it's incredible. Remember, this is not our day-to-day job. We're not, we're not all paramedics and we're not all nurses. So to have the training and the qualifications and the experience to go into that is amazing. There's massive opportunities to get involved with some great big events globally. You just need to reach out and be a part of it.
From workplaces to everyday public life, having trained first responders can be the difference between life and death. Working with a wide range of organisations across Gibraltar, St John plays a vital role in equipping people with the skills and confidence to act quickly in an emergency.
Lots of organisations, different companies. We have private people who also want to do the courses. We run a lot of courses for governments as well. They put out tenders and we get some of them. We've helped with the schools as well with the basic life support and AED training for the schools, basically everywhere, all over Gibraltar, and across the border as well. We've got one coming up in Soto Grande soon.
We as an organization, we have to comply and have our health and safety in check. And one of the many trainings that we have to offer and obviously have our staff undertake is basic first aid. We decided to take on the 3-day course, which is a little bit more intense, but it just covers absolutely everything, especially in our line of work where we have outside broadcasts and people are sometimes having to climb ladders, even though they do undertake also the training for ladder safety. But it's also important to have the first aid on board too, because if anything were to happen, the duty of a first aider is to preserve life and prevent deterioration, and obviously then ensure that the recovery is much better. I have to say the 3 days were thoroughly enjoyable. The training itself was fun in the sense that the trainer made it fun for you to be able to actually grasp the basic of what is first aid. What we wanted to ensure is that the staff that were there were able to enjoy the training, learn from it, and be able to apply it if ever there is a need. Because we are a big staff, we need to ensure that we are safely covered and that we can, as I say, prevent any deterioration further. It's crucial, it's vital.
The first aid at work course was, a big eye-opener. I mean, things that can generally happen, not just around work, but, out in the streets, at home, and I think it gave us all a boost in confidence on how to deal with these situations,
I'm Crystal, I'm a first responder. There is no response from inpatient.
It was a really empowering experience. David made all of the material really accessible. I do feel somewhat empowered to step in a situation if somebody needs some first aid, or hopefully there's somebody a little bit more experienced than me, but definitely until the paramedics arrive. I think it's very important to feel confident in the skills that you learn when you're at St. John's for the course, especially nowadays where public spaces are more used and more full of people, and sometimes paramedics maybe can't get to you on time, and it's great to have that first response, because the first response is really important and you could potentially save somebody's life.
Actually, 6 months after the training, I was on holiday in New York and we were sitting at the theatre, and a young lady beside me suffered a seizure. So we were able to support her because the staff itself in the theatre weren't trained. They called emergency services, but we were able to put her on the recovery position and make her comfortable in the end. And I kept very calm, which I don't think I would have been able to have been if possibly I hadn't received the first aid training, because one of the things that they do tell you is to just look around your surroundings, ensure that the person is out of danger, and it just came naturally. Surprised myself, in fact, but yeah. So personally, I feel extremely empowered to be able to give this service now, and St. John are doing a marvelous thing. I think that every workplace should undertake this training. It's important for your own workplace to ensure that you're obviously compliant, that your health and safety is in place, but also that you're empowering your staff to be able to assist in any situation if it were to arise, whether it is with an employee or maybe with somebody who comes to use your services. So yeah, I applaud St. John's, and obviously I do have to say that David was a fantastic trainer.
I'm Matthew Turnock, as all of you may know, but I'm also one of the directors of St. John Gibraltar. I've been a member of St. John for the last 10 plus years, so over a decade. I was made a member in 2019 of the order, and I was made an officer in 2023. But that's not important. What is important is why I joined St. John in the first place, which was because they helped me when I was 17, when I used to live in St. John's Court, to go up 4 flights of stairs. Now in St. John's Court, there is a lift, but at the time there wasn't a lift. So you can just imagine my mother with a 17-year-old boy, I guess she couldn't manage that. If it wasn't for St. John, I couldn't go to school. So that they actually made a massive difference in my life. Years later, after they helped me, Franco Casar got in contact with me because he wanted someone with a different perspective, like lived experience, but from a different perspective. As you can see, we are here in Edinburgh Estate, and if you look further, you will see there's lines on the pavement. That is as a result of my campaign of badly parked cars, and they actually put the lines in order for my wheelchair to pass, or mobility scooters, because disability might seem a very, very foreign thing to most people, because most people walk, but disability will hit you at any point, because disability is the only thing that is indiscriminate. It doesn't care whether you walk, whether you're white, you're black, or whatever. It's indiscriminate. I've always been very conscious of the need of people with disabilities, and St. John fits very nicely because it's like water and air. It goes together really nicely, because at the end of the day, at some point, you will need assistance. So disability and St. John go together like night and day, if it makes any sense, because it's about helping. It's about being there in your moment of need. That's what I do, or at least that is what I try to do. To be there when people don't have a voice, I try to be their voice. Well, St. John is there when you need them most. One of the things we do is that we provide services, especially during Christmas and major festivities, for people that need to transport from A to B, like from Montevideo to a person's house and stuff like that. And I've been a benefactor of that, because many times when it's raining and pouring, and because if you wet the wheelchair stops working. So sometimes I need to call St. John, and St. John does help me to get to university and things, especially when the weather is really, really bad. We also provide pickups from the airport to people that actually ask for it.
Tunnel's coming up, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, you walked through there, didn't you?
Yeah.
St John's ambulance is a godsend, because when you've got a wheelchair and you've got luggage, it's nigh on impossible to be able to do it on your own. So, you know, these wonderful people come out and help us, and the staff at the airport are absolutely brilliant. And, you know, it's a massive weight off our shoulders, because sometimes getting transport from here isn't easy, and for someone to meet you with the cases and get him to the apartment safely, yeah, absolutely brilliant. Tom is a big fan of Gibraltar, as I'm sure he'll tell you. He's got the wheels, he loves meeting everybody and socialising, and it's just such a wonderful place because the people embrace him. You know, he can go anywhere and he'll meet somebody, and it's such a great place for him to be. He loves coming here.
It's brilliant. It's so absolutely brilliant. People tonight, walking groups, town, seaside, everything.
We just send an email with the dates, and every time we need some assistance, they're always on hand to come out and help us. Just cannot praise St John's enough. Really, really wonderful people, and yeah, they always help us out. So a very, very big thank you to them all.
It makes their life that is complicated much easier. It takes away the anguish, it takes away the worry, it takes away the what ifs. Because if you know St. John is there, you know you're safe.
It's amazing. Everyone is amazing. I can't fault them.
So we were approached by our colleagues from Cancer Relief, which we often work with alongside. They wanted to ask whether we could fulfill a wish for a patient. We have done these transfers previously where we have taken them to a nice spot, or maybe to a family's graduation of that sort. It's just something that it's a service that we provide here in St John's Ambulance, along with the many other services that we also provide. Something maybe not a lot of people expect that we do. Apart from the sort of first aid aspect here, we do deliver these sort of patient transfers in all sorts of scenarios. I'm just going to finalize my vehicle checks now, and then once we're done, we'll start heading up to the patient's location. Just as a standard sort of checks that we do, we're going to be checking our basic life support equipment in case we do encounter anything whilst we're outside. We are an ambulance service after all. So if we do have an accident that just comes up, or somebody that flags us down, we need to have that duty to respond to that as well, apart from obviously doing our priorities here, which is to deal with our patient. But yeah, so I'm just checking the defibrillator, making sure that it is working.
Apply pads to patient's bare chest.
It's in perfect condition, so I'm happy with that. We've also got a little sort of medical response bag called sealed, making sure that whatever equipment has been put in has not been handled with since they've been restocked. So that bag's good to go. I'm certain it's got everything that we need. The rest is really just to do with the vehicle itself, making sure that the engine's running well, the lights, the brakes, obviously the ramp that we've just shown at the back. Other than that, I think we're ready to shoot off and meet our patient. Prior to obviously just making our way to the patient's location, we do phone them up, we do ask them what requirements they need. In this case, the patient has their own wheelchair, so we've used this vehicle. It's Juliet 4, J4. It's a mobility sort of wheelchair ambulance that we have. We have a different series of vehicles. We've got vehicles that are for stretcher patients, patients that are bedbound. This one we've got, which is for wheelchair patients, people that are not mobile anymore. This is our Volkswagen. It's getting a little bit on its end of commission state. We've luckily got another vehicle coming up soon, but this has been a very reliable car for us. It's done many years in the service, and still does its job. It's a great thing that people come to us for this sort of help. I know that Cancer Relief here do a really good job, and they're absolute professionals. So them coming to us for this sort of stuff it means a lot. And I hope that this relationship continues. I'm happy that we can fulfill this wish for this person. This is what they want, and it only takes me a couple of hours of my free time to do this, And it means the world to somebody. I do work in the ambulance service myself within the hospital, so I've got it from both sides. I've got it on my day-to-day, and then I've got it also in my free time. So, I mean, I don't think I would have been in the position I am now if it wasn't for this organization. And I'm grateful that I can give back to the organization as well with my spare time. So, yeah. Comfy, yeah? All good? Comfortable? Perfect. I wouldn't say you can relax on any of these transfers because you don't really know the condition of the patient, and you never know, they might be having some underlying health issues that you're not even aware of. So you always have to be sharp. You always have to be aware of what's going on, making sure that the patient is doing well. When it comes to the emergency side of things and transport, it is a very different job in the sense that, yeah, in an emergency you're responding to 999 calls, you're responding to medical emergencies that are happening urgently. But in transport you just never know, suddenly just turn on you. We are dealing with unwell patients. We're not just a taxi service or anything like that, so we do provide that level of healthcare, that level of medical support as well, on top of the transport from A to B. How was that? My driving was okay?
Do you behave?
Yes.
You sure?
Here we are.
4 months. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to go that way or that way? How about right? We can look at Africa. Is that beautiful? Is that
the right day for it.
So today we're here at the lovely lighthouse. This is a wish for one of our clients who wants to come up and see the lighthouse, see the beautiful views and have some lunch. Gets him out, it's good for socialisation and it's his wish to do so. So we've come and helped out with his wish. He seems very happy and we're lucky. Earlier it was raining and the sun's come out for him. So it's a special day and we want to make it as special as we can for him. Did not say to you that we're going swimming? Or did they not tell you that bit?
Don't worry, I brought your togs.
You got your trunks?
Yeah, I brought them.
John's, I cannot fault them. They were prompt, they were on time, so friendly, so professional, and they've really helped us out to fulfil this person's wish, which is really, really important. We are privileged. We're very, very lucky to be able to take part in someone's wish, and it's a nice day out.
Next week, we join St John at the MedSteps 5 Challenge, supporting one of Gibraltar's biggest charity events as participants take on the demanding course. We also explore the wider role St John plays in Gibraltar's emergency response network and how its volunteers and cadets are helping carry that vital service into the future.